20 questions for a visual artist from ChatGPT. 1. What inspired you to become a visual artist?
Well, the best way for me to answer that is it's more that I didn't become one. I was more like awakened to it. I grew up in a artistic household. My father was an artist, my mother to a degree as well. And just something I did, I was attracted to musical arts at first, but I was, as a young, school kid, I got praised for my ability to draw. And so it just kind of, positive reinforcement just kind of kept me going. But I really do feel like it's what I'm meant to be doing. It's why I'm here. It's why I'm on this planet, is to be a visual artist and express my ideas and creativity through artistic mediums. Right now, I'm focused on visual art.
2. How would you describe your artistic style or the themes you explore in your work?
Very, as you can see behind me here, very expressive artistic style, I say, gestural, expressive, very embrace the mistake is one thing I say a lot. The themes I like to explore are very much, for the most part, political, motivated, but in a positive way, like trying to promote positive ideas, trying to promote a better way for our society to be. So that's what I really try to do, try to inspire conversation. I do all my work as live streams, so it's like an active conversation versus make it and hang it and walk away. It's like the act of making is just as much the artwork as the final piece itself.
3. What mediums do you prefer to work with and why?
Well, I consider myself a interdisciplinary artist, so there's really no one medium that I will work with. It's more to say like what I wouldn't do. I don't find myself attracted to small metalworks. I don't find myself attracted to clay or pottery type of work. Right now, I'm mainly working with ink and a brush. I call them drawings, but I do fiber arts as well. I like to sew. There's lots of things I like to do. I grew up in a wood shop, so I'm very familiar with woodworking, but it's more like, what am I trying to do, and then how do I accomplish it? And I may sit in an idea for a long time, which, the last few years I've been sitting in this, drawing with ink and a brush, and I'm still a lot I have to explore there, but, tomorrow I could start carving some wood, or I don't know, sculpting something, who knows?
4. Can you tell me about your creative process? How do you approach a new piece of artwork?
I like to say I work at the speed of life. There's no real, my creative process is what is happening in our world and how can I respond to it? And I work fast. I don't like to spend, right now, the last few years, I haven't spent a long time on any one piece necessarily. It's all been like, I create a piece within an hour, within a few hours. I usually ideate, I usually think about what I want to do, like the piece behind us here. I'll think about how I want to place the words and the image, and I'll collect it. I'll make a composite on my computer, and then I'll print it out, and then I'll draw it like you see there. But the actual act of making happens very fast. I do everything on live stream, so it's like there's this performative aspect to it.
5. Are there any specific artists or art movements that have influenced your work?
Basquiat's a major influence for me. Graffiti is an influence, street art is an influence. Learned about the Gutai movement out of Japan in the 60s or so, in that era, the performative kind of work that was done then. A little bit of influence with the happenings of the 1960s and 70s, that kind of thing. Alan Capro, Joseph Beuys, yeah, so those are some of my influences. Visually, I like to work expressively, so anything I see that's not anything that's not photorealism, I'll be very attracted to and try to incorporate it into my work.
6. What role does art play in your life? How does it impact you personally and professionally?
For me, I see my art, I see every moment of my being artistic expression. I feel like this conversation, this interview I'm having right now is a piece of artwork. So the question kind of implies there's a separation between like art and your life, and it had to meet somewhere. For me, it's more like it's all always been the same, and my art and my profession is all part of it. I'm a professional artist. I'm a full-time artist, so it's all connected. It's all the same. There is no there's no line dividing it between having to meet and have a conversation. It's like, it's just all happening at once.
7. How do you decide on the subject matter for your artwork? Are there any recurring themes or subjects that you find yourself drawn to?
Right now, I'm heavily inspired by politically motivated, socially conscious, motivated artwork, trying to spread a positive message, trying to inspire people to want to get out to vote. Especially right now, that's a hugely important part of the work that I'm trying to do, trying to spread awareness of different ideas. I've done a lot of work around the human rights struggle in Iran. I've done, work with the, social justice issues here in America. So I just really want to spread awareness for these ideas that I think need to be amplified.
8. Can you share a memorable experience or story related to one of your artworks?
Yeah, the most memorable experience for me right now is that there are 3 of my pieces in the Chambers of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. I did a series of 116 drawings of Ketanji Brown Jackson, and it's a long story, but the short version is she ended up with 3 of them. So it's, as of right now, this body of work I call 116 drawings of Ketanji Brown Jackson is my most, kind of successful. I don't know. They're the piece that I'm most proud of, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's the most memorable, and yeah.
9. How do you handle creative blocks or challenges in your artistic journey?
I don't really have creative blocks. Partly life is too short to have creative blocks. And, like I said, I'm an interdisciplinary artist. So if I may get stuck on one medium, I just move to another medium. That's been the best way for me to avoid being, having blocks. But for me, there's just too much to create. There's just too many ideas. There's just too many things to say and do and want to do that it's really difficult. As of right now, maybe there will be a time where I do get stopped and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But because I respond to what's going on in the world in real time, there's always something to respond to. So it's really hard to get a creative block.
10. Are there any particular messages or emotions you aim to convey through your art?
Mainly messages. Emotions, I don't know. Maybe get angry, maybe get frustrated, maybe get wanting the desire to want to do something about our society and make it a better place. But the urgency to get out to vote and do that whole idea. Yeah, I really want to convey that. It takes, we have to be an active participant in our society in order for it to function properly and in a good way and to work for all of us. And yeah, I want that message to be out there that we all have to be engaged with these ideas and critically think about social justice, about what's going on in the world, in our society every day. We can't just assume that it's going to be great and it's all going to work out. We have to actively work for it. And hopefully my work helps remind us that we have to actively work for it.
11. Do you have any favorite pieces or series that hold a special significance to you? If so, what makes them special?
Yeah, the most significant and special piece for me right now is my 116 drawings of Ketanji Brown Jackson. I drew the summer of 2022. I did an in-gallery performance where I drew 116 drawings over the span of 10 days. I did an average of 10 to 15 drawings a day. And then I, had this series up for a month, and eventually word got to Justice Jackson herself that, and she wanted some of them. So she has 3 of them now in her chambers.
12. How do you balance your personal artistic vision with the expectations or preferences of your audience?
This is fairly easy because I really don't have an audience, so it's not a problem, but I've never made artwork for an audience. I do offer commissions, I do things like that, and I stand very firmly that I only do my style of work. And so far it's been working out. People haven't, if they don't like my work, I don't do things that, I've been very fortunate for a lot of reasons, I guess, that I haven't had to just make work for an audience. I make work for myself, and I've had decent success so far.
13. Have you ever experimented with different artistic styles or techniques? If so, how did that experience impact your work?
I'm an interdisciplinary artist, so that actually kind of comes with the territory. It's not really the way the question is phrased. being an experiment. It's never really an experiment. It's just like, oh, that's what I'm doing now. I'm not experimenting. I'm just going like, okay, I need to have this idea that requires this technique. I'm doing that. I'm not experimenting with it. It kind of leads into another idea with my work. Like every piece of my work, I don't tend to have a lot of things that don't work out. I just keep working on them until they are done. You know, it's like, I think there are a lot of artists out there that will do what you imply is experiment and won't show you things, but every piece that I do is worth showing in my opinion.
14. Are there any specific goals or milestones you hope to achieve as a visual artist?
Yeah, definitely. One of the top goals for sure is 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I do a lot of my work through, you know, mediums like TikTok, YouTube, and because I perform them live, that's how I perform them is through, live streams on the internet is a big part of my work. So I want to grow my, online audience, especially YouTube, to 100,000 subscribers. I would definitely like to do artist talks around the world, those kind of things. Those are big things. It would be nice to show more, do that as well. But I guess those are the top two: 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and give artist talks around the world about my artwork.
15. How do you stay motivated and inspired to create new artwork?
The idea of being motivated or inspired implies to me that it requires some external kind of thing, where my artwork is all an internal. It's an internal idea. It's like, it's not a matter of being motivated or inspired. It's a matter of, it's like it's more like breathing. It's more like eating and drinking, needing food it's like part of survival. It's not a thing that you do because it requires something to inspire you. It's like, I have to breathe every day. I have to make art. It's very synonymous with that kind of concept. It may be hard to understand if you're not me, but that's what it's like. It's just a compulsion more than an inspiration.
16. Have you ever collaborated with other artists or participated in group exhibitions? How did that experience shape your artistic journey?
I haven't collaborated as much as I would like. I would definitely like to collaborate more. I mean, as a musician in bands, you collaborate. That's the way you make music. And I've been a musician my entire life, so I've collaborated that way. But as a visual artist, I haven't collaborated. I wouldn't say I've had many collaborations. I can't even think of any. But group shows, yeah, I've been a part of group shows. I'm not personally a big fan of group shows. Like, my work requires multiples. Like, everything I do works better as a set than as one object. So because of the way I work. So I don't really like group shows. I'll do them if it helps me get in the door or, get my name out there, but I much prefer solo shows and just doing that kind of work.
17. Are there any challenges or obstacles you've encountered as a visual artist? How did you overcome them? Because
art and myself as a person are not separate, I deal with anxiety and depression. I deal with needing to make money. I deal with, seeing oppressive actions in our society. I deal with a lot of the same things that probably everybody deals with, and it's intrinsically tied to me as an artist. So how do I overcome that? Basically, I have this mantra, a couple mantras. I have a deploy grace in the face of adversity is one thing. So whenever I'm confronted with a struggle, I ask myself, how would a person of grace deal with this? And the other idea is, when I deal with anxiety and depression, those ideas, it's getting small. It's like really focus in on the moment, stay right here, put one foot in front of the other, take a breath in and a breath out, and that's all you focus on.
18. Do you have any advice for aspiring visual artists who are just starting their creative journey?
Yeah, if you're not doing it every day, if you're not compelled to do it, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be doing something else. Maybe it takes time to warm up to that compulsion, to that idea that you really just can't not do it. So just find ways to do it. I say to my students when I teach them, one of the things is make an excuse for your expression, if you need help with motivation. So for me, it's like partly like doing the YouTube live streaming really helps me find the excuse to make my expression, because I love to live stream. So it's like, okay, let me live stream my art. Let me do that kind of thing. So if you find an excuse to create other than just like sitting in your room, like if you can find some extra external motivation, that might help you in a little ways.
19. Are there any upcoming projects or exhibitions that you're excited about?
Currently, it's May 18th, 2023. This June 2023, I have a piece in an exhibition in Latvia in Europe. That area, it's a triennial, it's a fiber arts triennial. And I made a series of masks that I call Made in America. I made 20 masks that have words on them that express ideas from the 2020 year, pandemic, presidential election, all those kind of things that were happening in our world. And I responded to them with making these masks, and they're going to be displayed as a video presentation at the triennial in Latvia. I can't remember the name of it.
20. What do you hope viewers take away from your artwork?
I hope viewers, I don't know, honestly, whatever they want. I just hope they give it a moment. I just hope they give it a moment. That's all. They don't have to take really anything away from it. Obviously, I want it to inspire some ideas of thinking about our world in a critical way. But beyond that, or before that, or whatever, just giving it a second to let it sink in. That's all I want.
Follow or subscribe for more.